What would you say to somebody? What sort of steps should they kind of think through, like Chrissy at 2012? You're gonna go back to that's 10 years ago. So you go back
This is
10
10
years,
years ago.
and you're
So,
like, Chrissy, hey,
yeah.
listen.
Well, I think this is probably where I'm going to be a little bit more profound than simple in that, I mean, 10 years ago, Mark, I was married to a different person.
Mm,
I was not involved in the community at all.
mm,
I was I was happy being somebody's employee.
mm,
Um, so I don't know if 2012 Chrissy would have even had any idea to
mm,
talk to 2022 Chrissy. I mean,
mm,
2012 Chrissy had at this point in time a 10-month-old that didn't sleep. So
mm,
I don't think 2012 Chrissy was going to listen to anybody. She
mm,
just wanted a nap. Um, but the other piece of it is there's so much that has happened in the last 10 years, especially as it relates to the transitions that we've had in the economy. I don't know that I was prepared for COVID and what happened as a business through COVID. Because again, signed the paperwork in 19, yay, we have the building, yay, we have the business. And then a
yeah.
year to the day
Mm,
of those, like everything, the world shut down. It's like, well,
mm-hmm,
what the heck are you going to do with your business now, Chrissy? You bought this sucker and now you've got to, and you
mm-hmm,
can't even do anything.
mm,
Um, so I think
mm,
that part of it was that I was prepared. So, like
mm-hmm,
dealing with the Affordable Care Act and ACA, some of the losses that I've had in my life prepared me for
mm,
2020. But what I would say for people who are thinking about, what do I want that next chapter to look like? And they're in a business and they're wondering, do I want to stay? Do I want to buy it? Am I going to stay in the family business? I mean, the first would be really take inventory of, is this something that you love
mm-hmm,
doing? Because it wasn't at that point in time in 2012, it wasn't something that I loved doing. It became something that I really loved doing between, I would say, 12 and 16, because
mm-hmm,
we'd done so much of that transition within the organization around the Affordable Care Act, and I kind of worked on making it more my own, that by the time we got to 16, I was in that space where I like it, I love it, and now I've got to figure out how to to stomach around the things that we're doing with transition. I would say first have that conversation about with your key leadership, especially if they're related to you. Um, and maybe it's just that simple, like, and it can be disarming. Do you plan on dying here?
yeah,
I mean, like,
right.
hey, just for the
Oh,
record,
yeah,
are you gonna die here, or you want to retire on the beach? Like, what? It's that kind of high
yeah,
level,
yeah.
and you kind of start working that into the thought pattern
Mm,
because you don't know where somebody's at until you start asking those questions. And I didn't ask.
mm,
I didn't really ask my dad. I just
mm.
assumed this was what was
You
going
think you should
to
have
happen.
in 12 or 14 or somewhere pre 16?
I don't think for us it was the right, it would have worked out because our situation was different with his
Mm-hmm,
health issues.
mm-hmm,
And because I was dealing with grieving loss of husband and
mm,
grieving loss of father. So, I mean, I think every situation's unique. Typically, I would say if there's like a textbook, yeah, you should ask that question.
mm,
I couldn't ask that question at that point in time because he wasn't really capable of giving me the answer that
mm-hmm,
I think either one of us was able to hear at that point.
yeah.
But um, I think you should start asking, and
Mm-hmm,
then start really thinking. If is this going to be a 10, a 15, a
mm-hmm,
20-year cycle? Because I can tell you now, if I was still living in the same space that I was in 2012, I think I would be miserable.
mm,
Um, that's why I said there's times where I would look at Prince Charles and I just go, "Oh, it must suck to be him sometimes,"
mm,
because you're just waiting for somebody to die, and
yeah.
I don't think that should ever be your position in an organization, especially if it's something that you
Yeah.
want to own at some point in time. No one should feel like they're a hostage.
Yeah.
And I think there was a small period of time where I felt like I was a hostage, and I did not like that. And then when I felt that way was when we started to take action.
Mm,
So I would say if you think you're a hostage now, take inventory.
mm,
Um,
mm,
and the other piece is if you are married, um, this is a conversation that you have to have as a family
mm,
because it's not just I bought the business and I own like it's 100% mine, but we as a family, it's ours. We have to do things all together at times. I mean,
yeah.
when um when things got really messy in 2020, I mean, there were different, I mean, Steve had to take on a different role because there were things that had to change within our household so that I could focus on the business and he could focus on some things going on with the kids. So, have that conversation with your partner about, this is what I'm thinking I want to do. Because if they're not going to be supportive of that, I think that's a telltale sign that
Yeah.
you might be in the wrong spot.